Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we will discuss the Skydome Light. The Skydome Light is used for environment lighting. It surrounded the scenes with a dome of light. Let's create a Skydome Light from Arnold lighting menu. Let's scale this light a bit bigger so we will get a better placement. Please keep in mind the scale won't make any impact in lighting. Let's do a quick preview render. And if you see, the scene is immediately get illuminated. Let's close this render view. Now let's navigate into the light properties panel. The parameters like color, intensity, and exposure are similar to any other lights. Already we discussed this parameter in the previous lesson. In Skydome Light, color temperature is the temperature of an ideal black body radiator that determines the color of a light source. It's measured in Kelvin scale, and we have a ranges from warm color to cooler color. Next to that, in format dropdown, there are different types of projections that can be used to map an environment like mirror ball, angular, and lat long. And the default enabled option is lat long. A lat long HDR refers to a high dynamic range image that is formatted using a latitude and longitude projection. Essentially capture a 360-degree view of an environment where each pixel corresponds to a specific geographical coordinates on a sphere. So this will be allows us to get any accurate lighting calculations in any 3D applications based on up, down, and left, right directions within the scene. Angular HDRI refers to a type of HDRI format that's specifically projected in an angular map format. It's a 360-degree panorama images where the data is mapped on a specific angular grid, often used 3D rendering softwares to accurately simulate realistic lighting within a scene by capturing the full range of lighting directions and intensities from all the different angles around the point. A mirror ball HDRI refers to a type of HDRI created by photographing. A reflective mirror ball essentially captures a 360-degree view of the surrounding environment by utilizing the reflections on the ball surface, allowing 3D artists to stitch the lat long format, use this image as a highly detailed lighting source for their models in lighting. It provides an accurate reflections and lighting informations from all the different angles of the scene. Let's switch back into the default lat long. In production, most commonly we are using lat long projection. Now let's connect an HDRI. Let's click on the checkerbox icon on the color attribute. Select files. Go to the image name and select HDRI images. Let's go with this image. Now we'll do a preview render. And we can see that the scene is not updated with the HDRI. The reason behind this, the temperature setting is overriding the HDRI images. Let's turn off the temperature option. Now the scene is captured the full range of lighting information from HDRI. Also, there is a good amount of free HDRI resources available in the internet like Polyheaven and HDRI Skies. Let's open an HDRI. So this 3D view icon will allow us to show 360-degree visual representation of that particular HDRI. In the top right corner, there will be an options available for the format and resolutions of an HDRI. As I mentioned before, the scaling does not affect the illumination of an HDRI. However, it does impact its rotation. The illumination of an HDRI depends on its rotation angle. Let's rotate the HDRI along y-axis to achieve a better illumination. As the HDRI rotates, a significant changes will occur in the scene's lighting. Why HDRI is important in Arnold renderer? In computer graphics, HDRIs are widely used for image-based lighting, offering an efficient way to achieve high-quality renders in less time. In CG, they provide an immense creative freedom, allowing artists to manipulate them to replicate a specific lighting styles. But in VFX lighting, HDRIs are essential tool for creating a realistic 3D assets that closely align with the reference plate. It's always recommended to capture HDRI directly on set to achieve a precise illuminations and reflections that match the backplate. The default exposure is set to 0. It can be increased or decreased as per the requirement. Let's reset Y values. And if your scene is too dark, then we may need to increase the f-stops. meaning that we need to increase the exposure. However, in productions, we don't follow this approach. Instead of that, we always grade the HDRI according to the shot requirement before starting the actual lighting process. There is a resolutions option available. Resolution values are very important in HDRI. You should always check the actual resolutions of an HDRI images before assigning a values. Let's do that. Open the images in DJV player. It can be anything like any image viewer application. Then go to tools, information. In the dimension sections, you will be see the resolution is 2048. Copy these values into resolution settings. So 2048 is the maximum number of pixels available for that particular image. So this is the way we will get a bit more cleaner images, in terms of pixel and illumination quality. And next to that, we have the sample settings. These sample settings will be help us to remove the noises from your rendering. And other options like cast shadow will generate shadows in your scene. Shadow color will change the color of the shadow. Max bounds can set a maximum because if the environmental lighting is contributing indirect reflections, then we need a higher values. Let's render this with a value of 0. Reset this exposure to 0. Let's go for the witness camera. Let's rotate this HDRI into 190 degree. Let's increase the maximum bounds now. 1, 6. If you see very closely, there is a black pixel in the rendering. It's because the number of rays are limited. So in order to fix these issues, we may need to increase the ray depth values in the render settings. Let's go to the settings. Increase the specular ray depth up to 3. The subtotal is always the sum of diffuse plus specular and transmission values. Now we are getting much more cleaner output in terms of ray contribution. In Maya, ray depth means the maximum number of times a light ray can be bounced across the scene before being terminated. So these settings will be determine how much global illumination is calculated and impacting the quality of reflection and shadows. With a higher number of ray depth leading to more realistic result, but it will take longer time to render. But again, it can be adjusted based on your different ray types like diffuse, specular, and transmissions to fine tune the overall rendering process. That's all about the Skydome Light. Now we will see the use of light portal in the scene. A Skydome Light can use light portals to reduce noise for the interior scene, where the light came in through relatively small openings. Instead of emitting light, they can be used to guide Skydome Light samplings. The light portals must be placed to cover all the windows, doors, and other openings through which Skydome lights came into the scene. Our current scene is pretty noisy. Let's go for the camera and render the scene again. Let's create portal light. The light portal should be oriented so that it could be pointing through the windows as indicated in the scene. Let's place the sky portal into all 3 windows. We should place the lights very close to the windows. Copy to other windows. There will be a door in this area. Let's copy one more light, minus 90 degree in Y axis. Let's go to the Skydome settings and select portal mode. The portal mode parameter has 3 options. Off means turn off the portals. There is no actions. Interior only means blocks any lights outside portals for interior only scenes. Interior and exterior means these options allow the light from outside to pass through the portals, making it suitable for mixed interior and exterior scene. Let's compare few renders for better understanding. With the portal mode turned off, the portal lights on the windows are essentially not doing anything. With the portal light set to interior only, it blocks any lights came from outside the portal. With the portal light set to interior and exterior, the illumination is a combination of both interior and exterior light with controlled noise. Thanks for watching. That's all about the Skydome and portal light, and we will see the mesh light in the next video.